Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. Hello beautiful babes, Angharad here. I have had many instances over the last week with manifesting, and I thought it would be an amazing thing to touch on with you and talk a little bit, I guess, about my experience and my process, and how I moved through the doubts and the things that are like, this ain't happening or how is this going to happen? And I really, I guess, want to impart some energy onto you as to how you can stand tall, stand firm in the things you believe in, the things you're feeling called to, and hopefully impart some of this magical, literally magical creational energy to you, because that's part of my beauty of being a manifestor in human design. So what are you wanting to manifest? What often stops you? What part do you find really difficult? How do you know there is something that you want to manifest? How does it come to you? Does it come to you in a dream? Does it come to you in a thought? Does it come to you in inspiration after seeing someone else's lifestyle? Does it come to you just this like random out of the blue download and you're like, this is it. Like, this is it. What is it? How does it look for you? And how does it come in? And then the second thing I want to ask is, are you working with your human design? Are you listening to your intuition? Have you got that down packed? Are you practicing your emotional authority? Are you practicing your splenic, your sacral, whatever it is, your method of communication? Are you practicing that, right? And then how does it feel as you're doing it? And then the next thing is, okay, so I'm a splenic manifestor, right? So I get an instant, like it's very instantaneous, often doesn't repeat. It's like this very instant and very strong. It's like very whole body, very like jump off the cliff, very like your heart is thundering. I have to do something with this. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So it's very intense. Okay. And my human nearly immediately goes, no, these are the list of things we have to go through. Like, these are the list of whys of not, like, how this is not going to happen. This is a great idea. My human goes like this. This is a great idea. Honestly, it's absolutely beautiful, but it's probably like a 10-year thing, not a now thing. Do you get this? Do you resonate with this, or is it just me? This like big dreamerville over here, big dreamville. Is that a thing? So the human, our intuition is like, yes, girl, this is what you're made of. This is for you. Let's go. Let's pack our bags right this second. We're flying to LA. And your human is like, but what about my kids? Like, wait, those are really real things, right? Like, you want to invest in this thing. You want to hire the coach. I'm literally going through this right now with my next one-on-one coach. And I'm going to tell you the process that I am currently going through that has worked for me, because what happens is I get this download, right? My human goes, fuck no. And then sometimes I say yes and act anyway and do the thing, right? Sometimes there's a little bit of waiting in between. And then sometimes it's, a 10-year, 2-year, like 10 years to launch my first business, right? My soul business took me 10 years to do the damn thing. Okay. So I've gone between like a day to 10 years time frame. Okay. I've done it all. I get it. I really do get it. Okay. So anyway, and the thing that I find really, really practical is to merge the two. Okay. So merging your human is beautiful. Okay. She loves you. Your subconscious programming is there to protect you. They absolutely have your best interests at heart. And we have chosen, my belief, we've chosen to incarnate as a human in this lifetime to feel these things, to feel the doubt, to feel the fear, to feel the elation when it happens, to feel the love, to be able to squeeze our children and feel their cute little snuggies on. the cute little snakes in the face and the warmth of the sun in our skin, right? Like, we have chosen to be here to experience these things. So it's not to go amiss. It's not to disregard it. It's not to be like, I want to be, this is my story, right? So if this is not resonating with you, that's totally fine. But it's not about disregarding that stuff, right? It's about embracing it and loving it and knowing that we're perfectly, always perfectly where you're meant to be. The things you're feeling, the way you're doing these things, you're always perfectly where you're meant to be, right? And so from there, I also believe and regard that I am a spiritual being, which means that we have a whole lot of creative power, right? We really truly do. And if you've watched any Abraham Hicks stuff or any manifesting stuff, which I'm assuming you have, and we've all sort of been consuming that stuff for a little while, it means that we have the creative power to actually create whatever we want in this lifetime. And I speak quite a bit about this, like I have virtual reality and all those sort of things. So what I really do is I take both of them and I marry them. There's a little bit of like oil and water situation going on often, but what I do to serve them both is I decide in the moment when I have that download and maybe I sit with a fear for a bit, I decide that it's still mine. I still want it. I still desire it. And it's still something that I am then the next step going to energetically hold a container for. I'm going to hold the standard. I'm going to shift all the moving parts that need to be shifted for this to come to life and continue. It's like a relationship, like sometimes you have hard days and you scream at each other, right? And some days it's like amazing and you like cuddle on the couch for 6 hours and you're like so stoked, right? Do this with your desires, with your manifestations, really marry them together and just take it as it is. But ultimately it's about holding the space. So you energetically, in that moment that you decide this is for you, you then hold a greater space. You expand energetically. You go, this is me and this is a decision that's going to happen ASAP. I don't have to wait 10 years, but I also right now need to give it a bit of space. I need to breathe into it. I need to breathe some creational energy into it. And so that physically, strategically might look like journaling. It might look like going through a subconscious program. It might look like rearranging your work. It might look like shuffling your budget. There's going to be so many things that come into it, right? There's going to be so many actions probably that are going to come into it, but holding that space energetically is the most important thing, because if you don't hold that space energetically, you're not going to be able to go and make the changes or to be able to manifest it to actually come into your physical reality. And then the third step is to trust. You trust that it is coming. You trust that you're doing everything and you allow literally miracles to come because you are holding that energetic, it almost is like a vacuum. Like it's this vacuum where you are so strong on your boundary that this is going to happen and it will be happening, and you trust in divine timing. You let it happen. You let it unfold. And when the human things come in, you love it and you just process it and allow it to be real, especially if you're an emotional authority, right? Like your yeses and your nos are only ever going to be like 80% sure because you are so used to feeling such a variance. And so you're going to continue. We all have emotions though too, right? You're going to continue to feel the ups and downs of it, but we continue to process them and allow them to do their thing, because our emotions, it's just energy in motion. It's part of the beautiful things of a human experience. So the doubt and the fear, it's not a bad thing. And it doesn't mean you're bad if you're feeling these things too, right? I talk about this quite a lot. If you're feeling doubtful, it doesn't mean that you're a shitty manifester. If you're feeling scared, it doesn't mean that you don't have what it takes. Your emotions, don't attach identity statements to them. I am shitty. I am unfaithful. I am worried. I'm not capable of it. Those are all identity statements. Do not attach identity statements to your emotions, because emotions are just emotions. They're not identity, right? It's not your identity. So you marry it all together, and when you're about to make a big decision, you just hold space, trust, decide, and the timeline happens in its own perfect timing, but in my experience, way quicker than I thought it would. And also additionally, I also look back after it's happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, in that moment where I had that download, I've had this so many times in my life before I learned about this and before I integrated it. I have had so many times in my life where I've had that download and then thought it was impossible. My human goes, it's impossible. I let it go. But in that moment, I choose to let it go and just deal with the human disappointment and that it's never going to happen. But also in the flip, when I just decide it's mine anyway, that it's already mine, that I am having this, I declare it, and then it comes to fruition in 2 days, 10 years, whatever the timeline is, I'm like, oh my God, if all those things, I didn't take the action of deciding that it's mine, no matter, even though my human is scared, I have missed out on so many opportunities in my life because I didn't know this and I didn't know how to do it, but also perfectly needed to be in that situation to learn and have the fuel to actually learn what I have learned now. So anyway, if you don't decide and energetically hold the space for it, it's not going to happen. Those are your steps, and your human is going to not understand it in the beginning, but you continue to replicate this, and your human will learn that this stuff happens, and it is able to recalculate the trajectory. Like now for me now with the massive, like insane, absolute bonkersly insane investment for my next one-on-one coach that I want to work with, my human knows, because it has evidence so many times about how this has worked before. And so now she's able to have so much more trust and faith that the spiritual side has got her back. She understands her, and she's here to provide so much elegance and beauty and so much fun in this human experience by choosing and deciding that your downloads, your desires, your pulls, your big dreams are already yours. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at High Vibe Babe on Instagram so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group, and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.